And welcome everybody. It's John the Net Guy. It is a Tech on Tuesday, number 4 for the year. So far, I've done every one except one. But you got a bonus live yesterday. And that one was because I caught COVID and was flying back. And it was just a big, long story. You can check out my live yesterday if you want to hear about that. I'm excited. I got a lot of really cool products today. It's kind of a mixed bag. We got some cameras. I got a doorbell camera. I've got an IP camera. But something near and dear to my heart, gaming and PC tech, picked up the Intel. This is the 12400 and the LGA 1700 socket. This thing is a rocket, an absolute rocket. So we're going to benchmark this today. If you've got Intel 12th gen questions, and I'm excited about them, I've got the 12700 coming also, and you want to hear more about them, that would be awesome. Got to say hi to the chat to a couple folks. Andrew comes in with a greetings. Greetings, man. And I see a couple other people writing in the chat here. On the road, coming back, Zach, and PC Tech Hustle is here as well. Thank you guys for making time tonight. I am live on YouTube, Facebook, and Amazon. If you're on YouTube or Facebook and you want to support me on Amazon, even though the interface is a little you can hit the link in the description and get over to my Amazon shop. I'm also going to put that Amazon shop link in the lower corner here and bother everybody the entire stream. That said, we're going to get right into it. I'm going to start out with just kind of the basics first, and then we'll work up from there. That is a very budget friendly, and it's got a couple surprising features, IP camera. You know, these things are starting to become really ubiquitous. If you're on Amazon, I just started up the first product on there, which is the Vacos camera for home. So it's an IP camera. I'm going to throw it out here on the physical carousel. It is on the digital carousel right now, but I'll throw it up there on the physical carousel to spin around. I'll tell you a little bit about it. I showed you one a couple weeks ago. You know, these are kind of these off-brand, IP camera space is getting pretty crowded. Wyze makes the Wyze V3. Everybody knows that one. This one, actually a very solid camera. I'll tell you, the picture quality when you see it is pretty impressive for an IP camera. 1080p is getting to be really, really sharp, and the colors on it were really, really good the first time I noticed that. The other thing that you guys have been asking for is get rid of the cloud storage. This thing has the ability to do micro SD cards on board, which is what everybody wants, but better yet, it's got ONVIF support, ONVIF. And that's the open video standard. That's going to allow you to use this with Blue Iris or anything else you want. So really, really cool product. And it's coming in right now at $25.99 on Amazon. So I'm going to pull up the Amazon page real quick, and I'm going to show you guys how to get there. If you want to see my Amazon page, I should probably plug that in to the capture board. 1 second here, guys. I'm going to plug that video interface into the laptop so you can actually see that. Give them 1 second here. You know, when I'm out for a little while, you got to learn how to ride the bicycle all over again. Here we go. So this is my Amazon shop. So it's just simply just down the URL below /shop/thenetguy. If you visit here, you can see a lot of the other Amazon videos I've done. But if you come down here to number 4 Tech on Tuesday, this is the links to all of the products that are going to be shown today, including a couple bonus ones actually in this as well. And hopefully it loads up here, is actually going to be the Z690 motherboard option. So if you want to see that motherboard as an optional upgrade potential for this, there's that. There's also going to be the 12700 as well. So Andrew looks like he's asking questions. Loving that comparative between the 12 and the Ryzen 3600. Yeah. You guys are going to have to stick around for that. And of course, I'm streaming live to Amazon, but the Amazon page cannot be reached is what I'm getting right now. So we're going to go back to the actual camera itself, and we'll just talk about it. I actually have it installed up here, and I've been doing some things with it. Let me pull it over here to the close-up cam so you guys can see it. Very, very, very eerily similar to all of the other ones, right? You know, if you didn't know which was which from branding, there's another one from another company. They're all getting that rounded black face in the front with a adjustable stand. Now this one doesn't have any sort of magnetism on the stand. It has a non-skid, which is kind of cool. So you can put it down and you can angle it and adjust it. So there's the Vacos logo. There's the little IR emitters are down on the bottom, if you can see those. And then on the right side here, or my right, is the SD card slot. So that works pretty well. And actually, we just got back our Amazon feed, so let's show you that. You can actually see me live on Amazon. It's always weird. It's like looking in a mirror, but we're looking at that product right there. And again, you can go directly to that product from the carousel. And now this thing is even on sale, another 10% off. If you're going to go with an all on VIF, all on premise, no sending to, foreign servers, and you just want to lock it down, let me show you the picture quality on this, because I think you're going to be surprised. So the way I'm going to do that, I'm going to be kind of cheating here. I'm going to open up their app. So I'm going to bring this back up here. We're going to open up my phone, and we're going to see if all the demo gods are working today. There it is. And actually, I'm going to give you a little bit bigger view there. So if I go over here, this Vacos Smart app is the app. Now, the card I'm using to do this is more compressed. Hey, Thomas. Got to say hi to my friend Thomas Jacobson there. Says, hey, neighbor. Awesome. Thank you for stopping by here. And so, the Vacos here has all the standard controls, including cloud storage. Even if you, don't want that, you can adjust that. This was me testing earlier, and this is me testing live now. So again, you can see my picture right on the phone, and I'm going to go live on the app, full screen, and I'm going to see if So apparently we lose audio on that input. I'm not going to be able to use that input. Let me check one more and see if I can get the audio source I want. That's going to be interesting. Okay, well, we learn what we learn. So I'm not going to be able to show you that view. Let me check this other split out. Can we still hear? Yes. Okay, so we've got the me camera. As soon as I turn my input off, that's where I'm going away. Now I got you guys. Thank you guys for letting me know that. I appreciate it. So again, super clean quality. That's the one thing I noticed about this camera right off the bat. Let's do a little bit of unboxing flavor here so you guys can see my lips moving here. But what I was talking about earlier was the quality. Now, when you move it around, that's frame deferencing and compression is going to get you. But when it's in a static spot, you can read those letters way over there, and that's pretty impressive. So, and the colors, again, this is not doing the best here, but the colors are the one thing that impressed me about this unit. You can kind of see my ceiling here, the studio. Again, on VIF support, let's go back in that app real quick. I'm going to go up here to the menu on the app, and then you can go down here, and this is where all the additional cool functions, alert, recording management. I told it all day recording here, so I can I put a 16 gig card in there, works just fine. It's got a bunch of capacity left. If I go back out here, you can do the cloud service. Now the cloud service, I activated their trial. I'm testing it out obviously, but if I go to change plans here, you can see the pricing for the plans that they have. And this is pretty common. Everybody's between about $1.50 and $3 a month. Comparative to Wise and some of the other more advanced offerings, it's not going to have AI person detection. It's not going to have, 14-day recording. And if I do all-day recording, it goes up to $4 for the 3-day minimum plan there. So you can see those are your options. But if you do put an SD card in this, you don't have to worry about that at all. So that's one of the things I could recommend here. Just as a device, you're buying hardware at that point. If you want to run your recorders, Blue Iris or whatever, this is something that I found very impressive, which was that OnVIF that I told you guys about. This is the open standard for security. please reset the initial password, it's saying, and well, let's see what the initial password is. Admin, obviously. So they want you to fix that. There's the IP address of the camera. Thank goodness it's behind my NAT and you guys can't get to it. But that's what I wanted to point out for you guys, is that this could be really, really cool if you wanted to add it to Blue Iris or something else. So that is the first item there. I'm going to come back to Amazon real quick and just make sure I showed you some stuff. One other thing, I'm going to open the box real fast and show you a couple things it comes with. It comes with a full 6-foot cord. So I was able to run the camera all the way up here, all the way to my wall. That's something I've been asking for from a lot of these makers. I know they don't watch and be like, okay, yeah, John, we're going to give you a longer cord, but this is one of the longest cords that's included in a non-wise, non-pan cam style camera. So that was really impressive right away. It's well packaged. You'll get it in there. You know, your folks could do this if you want to give them something. A lot of times these apps, you know, hard to use. This one has audio during the setup, which I lost audio earlier, kind of ironic, but it'll walk you through the setup process. And it does have these captive nuts here. So these are those nuts that go in. Got the wall anchor screws, puts those in through those holes. And then it takes the camera side and you can latch it. So if you want to mount this to a wall permanently and not deal with magnets and not deal with stickers and all those other things, it does actually include a mounting plate. So I wanted to tell you about that too. So that's what's included in here. You get a free trial of their cloud service right away. And just coming back to Amazon to show you what they've got there. It is $25.99. I'm going to check the chat real fast to see if there's any questions specifically about this camera, anything you're interested in. I'm going to go quickly through the images that they provide just to show you, you know, what it looks like, a little bit bigger screen there. And yeah, there's the micro SD, a slippery little devil. I put it in and I about lost it, but it's got support. It looks like for up to 128 gigs, which is higher than some of the other vendors. They were only allowing 16 or 32. I did not test the Amazon Echo device or Google device support, but if this is available, this is kind of cool. So you can say, show me the, you know, indoor camera, show me the whatever, and it'll show on those devices. I'm almost thinking this is a must-have on a lot of these devices, especially if they're going to be a more budget option. But again, for around $23 after discount, this is pretty cool. I only got one of these. They did send this to me to show you guys. So again, full disclosure, this is my complete review of it. All my ideas, they don't know that I'm doing this, but you know, they did send this thing to me to test out. And I don't have more than one, so I can't show you the multi-view on, so I'm just pointing that out. But it does have multi-view capability. And the wide angle, I would say the angle is a really, really close to all of the other ones in this space. I didn't see it exceptionally wide, but I didn't see that it was too small either. So that's kind of where we're at. And there we go, advanced night vision. Now, I did not get a chance to test out the IR and the night vision on this, but we can take a look at that. Andrew says, I'm not as familiar with home security. Can you grab the video feed and do local recording? Oh, yeah, that's a cool question. So I'm going to throw that up here real quick on the screen. So that's what Andrew was asking, is if you can record to a NAS. Actually, yes, you can. So with OnVIF, all of those standards, you can connect to all of these cameras regardless, and then you can stream those out to OBS. It's almost like RTSP, but you can use those OnVIF interfaces to do all that. So that's really, really important. I think the Synology is another real popular one, and it comes with a single license, I think, for a camera, and then you have to pay for the Synology licenses for their security station. And I think Ubiquiti had one too, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So don't quote me on that exactly, but great question there on that. So that was our first product. Let me check the Amazon chat and see if we had any questions from our Amazon folks. And again, if you guys are following me on Amazon, thank you so much. I'll give you a shout out here if you hit that follow button and tell me where you're coming from, and I'll give you a shout out live on the show. The next product that's coming up, oh, hey, you know what? Before I skip over, Josh had a comment. He said, this would be sweet for watching 3D prints from my basement from my office. Josh, that is a great use case for this. I can't tell you how many of these I've wanted to use. Definitely has good, sharp, like actual focus, and the hyperfocal length is pretty close. So you could definitely do that and see if the filaments going and making a bird's nest on you or something. I've had that before. So very cool. Yeah, great use case. Next one up is going to be the Wyze rechargeable night lights. Now, these are kind of cool if you're a dad like me. I promise the really nerdy stuff's coming. I'm going to switch to this product next. I'm going to throw it here on our carousel. And you guys will get, I'm hitting 3. There we go. There's the Wyze night lights. And it's kind of funny. I've actually have them up here on, they're magnetic. I have them sitting here. You can see back in the back there. I had them sitting here charging with the USB-C charger. Now, if you're looking on Amazon, they're $26.99 on Amazon for a 3-pack of these. And let me just show you again what you're getting on the top. And you know what? I'm going to turn it on just so you can kind of see. So it is a very subtle light. It's not going to be super bright. That's one of the nice things. It is a night light, but it is a rechargeable night light, which is kind of cool. It is another one of those products that doesn't go in the app. There's very few of these products. It's more of a utilitarian product, to be honest. So this is definitely a non-app based product. But what's cool about this is that they're networked. So if I take and I turn 2 of them on into the auto mode within the first 30 seconds, they'll start to blink and they'll network with each other. So let me see if I can show you that real quick. So I'll take both of these. I'm going to switch them to auto. They're blinking. Let's see if I can do this without dropping them. That would be embarrassing. And then those will be a network with each other. So what's neat about that is if you put these on a stairwell, as soon as you touch the first stair or get close to it and the first one sees you with the passive infrared motion detection turns on, the rest of them will automatically do that. So that's a pretty cool feature that comes with these. Now, there's 3 in this pack, but I've only got 2. Why is that? Well, the other one's upstairs. My kids are using it already. We needed a nightlight for them. We don't want something with our very youngest that's in an outlet that he can play with the prongs. We don't want him to get that. We have tamper-resistant outlets in the room for a reason. So in this case, this was perfect. So you can see the bottom one's turned on because the thing was covered up, the light sensor on it. But it does have motion sensing, and it does have light sensing. The light, like I said, I'm in a super bright studio, so you're not going to see like an insane amount of brightness, but at night, it's more than plenty. It's not adjustable, so you can't go in and turn the lights up or down, but it is rechargeable. So there's the little USB-C charging port. And I'll tell you, it was kind of funny. Somebody went on the Wyze forum, and they're like, I don't know why they, put this port on here that's special and unique and nothing else uses it. And everybody's like, no, that's the future. That's the next thing coming. So I am glad, again, I'm going to bring you over here so you guys can see this real close. I am glad that they put the USB-C on them. There is a couple other interesting things about how they chose to get these. I wonder if they lose the link if they go completely dead. Was a question that Josh asked. And that's a great question because I have not run them all the way down to be dead. I have the one upstairs, but I don't have it networked. But that's a really great question. I'll bring up the Wyze page here and then we can take a look at that. And if somebody, this is the other cool thing about doing the show live, if somebody has these and wants to let me know in the chat, we can talk about that. But here's the Wyze page for them. And actually, I'm going to take you back. Sorry, 1 second here. Need to pull that chat off of there. Hey, Subman, welcome to the show. We are just taking a quick look at the Wyze night lights. This is my first time having them on the show. This is a product that I use, and I use this with my kids. I could see using this in a hallway, using this near some stairs or anything that, you need some quick lighting. They don't include a power charging cable at all with this. Now, it fits any standard USB-C, so if you had an Android phone in the last 5 years and or anything else from Wyze, their headphones or something else that comes with a USB-C and a charging port, you'll absolutely get that. You can charge them. The other thing is the battery life. This thing lasts a few days on auto, maybe up to a week. It's not going to be months on this. Again, it's not designed for continuous use. When you do have it on continuous on, it's going to go through the batteries that much faster. So that's another thing you got to worry about. But from a cool product perspective, $26 for 3, That's not bad. The other thing I'm going to show you real quick is what you get in the box. And this, again, if you got kids, is kind of cool. You want a night light that's approachable. You get, obviously, the quick start guides, because we all need those, which is cool. One other thing you get, and I have to show off, Wise backer stickers. So that's the Wise Nightlight one there. I'm just starting the physical collection. I can't tell you how many of those I threw out before. I feel really bad now because I should have had more of them. And let me pull up here. They come with these metal plates. So what are you going to use? Just simple metal plates. Well, if you're going to put this nightlight on a corner, most drywall corners are metal underneath. But if it's curved or you have another place on a wall you want to put this, they're including three 3M strips just like this. And what you can do is set the strip so that there's just a little tiny bit sitting out the bottom. And then there's this little pull tab on the back. You stick it to the metal plate, mount that to the wall where you want it, so pull the glue off and then mount it to the wall. And then it's just like a command strip. So if you ever decide you need to get rid of this and you move it, you pull this out and you haven't left any residue or anything on your wall, which is really slick. So that they're thinking out for that. Another couple cool things that are inside. Again, if you've got kids that are interested, they have sticker kits for the lights. So they got some really interesting smileys and whatnot. And they're just clear stickers that you can put over the nightlight, make them a little bit more approachable and less utilitarian. So my kids would like that, but I have not put those on my kids yet. So that's the Wise night lights. Another interesting Wise product, as I mentioned. The complaints on this one are that they don't have an incredible battery life. You know, with the auto setting, you're going to get a lot longer. And then they don't come with a charging cable at all because, again, this is how tiny the entire box is, and it includes three of them. It's a 300 milliamp hour battery, so that kind of explains the battery life. It's not meant to be really big, but they charge up very quickly, under an hour. So I've plugged them in, and they charge up, and then you just throw them back on the wall, so they work pretty well. So that is the Wise product. We're burning through the products here today because I want to get to the good stuff. And we are here. There we go. No more echo. So BLH was saying we had an echo. When you go to that side camera, it's echoing. Hey, you know what? BLH, you're helping me out here, man. I had a setting on here that turns on the camera. Sorry about that audio. When I do edit these videos later, I'll tell you, I put these out. So you're seeing the first cut, the first live view. When I edit these videos later, I can edit that out and I can use one audio channel. Thank you so much. And BLH, thank you for your first time being here and chatting with us here. Tell me where you're from if you don't mind, if you're cool with that. I'm in the Seattle area and have a YouTube channel. If this is the first time you're here, I'm John, the Net Guy. I do PC builds, tech tips, and gear reviews, and checking out a lot of the Wise products. And BLH is from New Jersey on the East Coast. Thanks, man. That's awesome. So I'm going to put this here. We're going to go to the next product. And next up on the show is a product that I am super duper excited about as a raging nerd here. And that is the Intel 12th Gen. I'm doing that again. I can't tell you enough about these processors. We talked about it yesterday on the show. They have really raised the bar against Ryzen in the gaming CPU market. So the single core performance is a lot better, which is awesome. And then the multi-core performance on this thing, because that single core is so much higher, your actual benchmarks in games is even better. And that's what we know is a lot of games that don't have super high multi-threading support. They like a very fast single CPU. So your single CPU benchmarks are important. Well, this Intel is absolutely killing it. And I bought this one the other day and I put it in this system here. So I'm going to go ahead and change up things just a little bit so you can see them better. Give me 1 second. So I'm going to move this cable here. Sorry about that. And I'm going to set it up so you can see my Intel system here. I'm going to pull up my Intel system and we're going to see if I got this right. I'm going to click that. See if I can pull it up. Sorry about that. Make sure we got that thing on. So the 12400, that one is a fairly unique machine already. Let's see if we got it back up and live. I had this thing turned off, and of course I just changed the inputs, and so it did not like that. Let me change back, and we'll use a different strategy here. Okay, you guys should be seeing a laptop. There we go. So that's the 12400 chip itself right here. This one is going to be a 6-core, 12-thread, and that's us down there taking a look at it right now. You know, like we said, the frequency, the base frequency on it is fairly stout. It's fairly high. You know, you can start to build on this LGA 1700 platform. And hey, wow, we're getting people chatting away from different places. We've got New Jersey in here, and we got a guy visiting Seattle in the summer. That's awesome. Look me up, man. And Salt Springs, Florida, we have another one. And Sacramento, we have good grapes, fermented or otherwise. Thank you, Andrew, for sharing that. Awesome. It's good to have a little shout out from where you guys all are. That's awesome. So yes, this is a fairly stout CPU as it is. One of the things is, if you look at this compared to a 5600, now let's go do that real quick. I'm going to go here to Tech Power Up. Thank these guys, by the way. They've done all the research in here. And hey, I got somebody from Enumclaw, man. That's a hop, skip, and a jump for me here. But you know what we were talking about, single core performance. So you use Cinebench R23 to test that. It's beating all of these other chips, the 11600, the 11700, and the 11900 right here. The single core performance of this chip is already over that, which is pretty amazing when you think about it. Now, multi-core, again, some of those other chips that have a lot more cores, they can kind of flex the 10900 here, the 11900. But if you think about it, this is within 10% margin, right? So you're within 10% of an 11900. I think somebody mentioned the other day, they called that a waste of sand. Silicone in there. We talked about that yesterday. You know, this is a very, very cool chip. So that said, let me see if I can get us into the right capture interface here so that you guys can take a look at this thing with me. And we will see if we can do a live benchmark. I'm going to go ahead and get this all set up for you. So here we go. And let's see what we got. That is into you. Nothing but net. I want to have the internets, please. I'm going to go ahead and restart this thing and see if that was what's doing it. I know we don't have HDCP. Maybe it's this fancy RX 6500 I've got. It could be that chip that could be that video card. There we go. Okay, we're booting it up here. So again, 1 terabyte solid state drive in this build here. It does have an RX 6500 XT, which no haters please, but yes, that is crazy. And Andrew is saying, wow, my 5600 is just barely hanging on. I can't even see the 9900K on that list. That's true. These things are ridiculous. Yeah, Windows updates. Thanks. Windows 11. Isn't that what it is? Like right when you want to do a demo or a benchmark or something, it's going to decide to do Windows updates here. But we do have some static benchmarks if we want to use those. I'm going to see if this thing will get on screen for me. I tell you, it's just my luck. There we go. It's rebooting. But I do have a couple games here that we can check out. I got Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I've got Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And I've got Cinebench on here that we can take a look at. Because, you know, it's one thing to look at a Cinebench score, and it's a whole nother thing to actually see Cinebench running. And so that's what I wanted to show you guys on the show. This is, again, running that Intel. Let me see if I can do this through a very small screen. So this is the task manager. Now, this is also used on the motherboard that I'm going to talk about next, because I'm going to put this into a new PC build I got coming. One second here. Got to get the right mouse. It's got like, I'm using a multi-machine mouse, so I can go to different machines, but I'm like clicking on the window. So check that out. That is, if you've got task manager, you can look at that and you can see the speed, the turbo speed there. This thing is just awesome. So it's you know, booting up, getting all ready to go here. For memory on this one, I actually do have a ton of RAM in it. It's 3200 megahertz. I think it's XPG. Yeah, but I do have that. That is like the standard for this chip. The 3200, I think, is the max that it can use. The motherboard will go much, much higher, and some of the other chips will do that. And then, like I said, solid state disk. But let's get Cinebench loaded here. Now, what's funny about this, and I'm going to switch over camera so you can see the actual test station we have here. But if you look at that, that is the simple sausage cooler, the pancake cooler that I've got here. Just, sitting on there. It's putting out some heat, but it's definitely not going to be thermal friendly to this thing. There are other ones I showed yesterday, this one. So that's, a radiator cooler, or sorry, not radiator cooler. No, it is a heat pipe cooler from ID Cooling, and that one does have the appropriate plate on it right now. So I didn't pull up the thermals on this, and we can look at that, but I'm just going to pull up Cinebench because I love watching this. I don't know about you guys. And a traditional, like a real Cinebench test, I would go through and turn off OneDrive, turn off everything else. But we're just going to go through and do this real quick. So I'm just going to let you guys see the thing run around real fast. And if you got questions about the 12400, if you're interested in some of the specs, I've got the Intel Arc site up here, and we'll go take a look at the nerdy stuff. But check those threads out. That thing is, and again, this is on stock cooling. There's obviously one there, that's lower than the rest here. So if you had better cooling, I bet you more of these are going to stay at their max turbo. But crazy, crazy fast when you think about what it can do. I'm going to pull up here the chat real quick. Whatever does the job. Yeah, Josh saying how quick that little 400F is. Now, the other one that I'm actually really excited to see is the 12100F. That's an i3 chip. And that i3 chip is probably going to be the budget gamer one. So this one's over $200 for the chip. You can get it on sale for $179. I think its list was even less than that from Intel. There is some markup at a lot of the places you buy from, but you're still looking at probably a $600 or $700 build with this chip. The 12100F is a 4-core 8-thread, so you can see where it's landing on there. It's probably not easy to see here, but it's already over the 11800H there, so the mobile chip there. So it's scooting right along. And again, with even more cooling, I bet you we could probably get an even more impressive result. So that's the one there. And then obviously single core performance. And those all look really so boring when you do this. When you do this test, it's just like, we'll see if it'll kick that off. But yeah, this one's always kind of sad and sorry to watch. But yeah, again, continuous, just chugs away through things. And this is better for your games, to be honest. And let's go into that real quick. I'll start up another little game benchmark I've started to like to use more recently. So let me know what kind of games you're looking at too. Andrew's saying for under $200 main CPU is definitely gamer. I think we are in the 6-core era. 4-core is lightly the Fortnite PC for junior. You are probably correct in that sense. More cooling, more better. Absolutely. So I love that even the i3s now have hyper-threading. They still post higher numbers than the 7700K of yore. Was he trying to say I have a 7700K? Because I actually had, I've got a 6700 on my Unraid server. Absolutely. So I'm just going to run Shadow of the Tomb Raider real quick, and I'm leaving the Epic notice and everything else up. So this is not going to be, again, a super amazing one. But I showed this yesterday, and what's neat about this is this CPU, the game is not CPU bound at all. And so when you just run the simple benchmark, and I know this is a few-year-old title, we're running high settings, 1080p, running out of the 6500 XT. That's a card I would actually like to talk about more and do an Amazon live on and play a bunch of these games together on. But what's funny is that that GPU is actually running about 8% faster than the 5800 is what we tested yesterday on this benchmark specifically. So getting a few more chats in here. My son is running a boosted 4790K. Yeah, it's amazing how many generations there are. But check this game out. Like, this is an under $200 air quotes. I paid $229 on it. And I'm getting 75 frames a second on high settings, and it looks good. Hey, there's Kren finally with the good day. And you know what's funny? Yet again, I'm on Amazon Live now. I have my OBS set up, so I don't have his good day for everybody, but I need to get a specific button on the soundboard for that. It's going to drag a little bit through here. This is the hard part for it, and then when we get to the outdoor stuff, it goes scooting right along here. I got to put Kren's good day all. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you're checking us out on Amazon right now, we're on live on Amazon Live as well. We are checking out the i5 12400F. So this is going to require a graphics card. It is locked. I think you can upgrade the memory speeds, but that's about it. So yeah, this is for the card that everybody wanted to hate for a GPU. And then, just a standard, I would say a 6-core, a decent 6-core performant CPU. There's nothing holding this back other than the GPU at this point. You'll see it in the end results here, which we'll let go. I'm going to have those running behind the scenes. I'm going to come back over here full. I do want to show you guys, again, a couple other things here. Lag is GPU bound. Yeah, what's funny is we actually were noticing this yesterday. A lot of the lag that we were seeing was actually the encoding card too. So, this is, again, a little bit more about it from Tech Power Up that we're looking at here. So that's kind of where it runs in with the Unreal Engine. So, again, fast. You're seeing it in the middle or the bottom of graphs, and it's actually comparative to other chips. In here, if you do the power limits removed, basically overclocking, lower is better. A 3900X is within 2% of this. Even if you don't change anything, it's within 2-3%. Yes, 1080p, and we're at high settings. I'm going to bring that back up for you guys. We may have missed a little bit of the outdoor, but it was getting into the 100 plus FPS on the outdoor scenes. But yeah, again, this would be more of a GPU test, but very cool on, this CPU. Let's talk about the motherboard. I'm going to switch gears a little bit, only because I don't want this show to last 10 hours. I got things to do. But I'm actually going to switch gears and talk about the motherboard this thing's on, because the one thing that you'll notice is that the chips, and of course, right when I say that, the results of our benchmark are going to come up here. So here's the benchmarking results. I'm going to get my ugly mug out of there because I am in your way. So, of course, the only problem is I can't be on there and talking, it turns out, we found out, and see that. But it was basically 77 frames or 76 frames per second average. 1% low is like 60s. So solid. 1% low being super low might be, again, CPU bound, might be thread bound because of the IO to the disks or other subsystems. But, between 10 points on the 1% low, that's not bad at all. So pretty cool little game setup. I do want to show you guys this motherboard, so I'm going to have to switch back over to that. We're taking a look at this Asus board. So now we're taking a look at this Asus Prime B660M-A D4. So this is the DDR4 version of it. Couple things I do want to point out about this motherboard right away. It's got the Gen 2 AuraSync headers, the ARGB headers in there. It's going to have the standard pump outputs. It's going to have the fan outputs. It's going to have all that stuff built in. 1 gigabit Ethernet in here. I did have a problem with the 1 gig Ethernet right when I started. I was having some issues there. Just wanted to point that out. I actually had to use a different NIC, and that may have been my Windows install, because I had a Windows install from another board and I brought it over here, but it worked out in the end and I didn't have to do anything post that. It's going to have all your USB 3.2, 0.1, again, if you're worried with the difference between 5, 10, and 20 gigabits, you probably are going to look the specs up on your own. Got 4 RAM slots, as you can see, that are populated here. The one thing I do want to point out is the VRM cooling. So if you are going to go, and I'm feeling this, it's warm, but it's not incredible. I believe it was hardware unboxed. Don't quote me on that, but they removed some of the thermal protections and the power limits on this chip. Not this chip, but the higher ones that you can do that on. And we're able to get more performance, but you definitely need to have better cooling on your motherboard at that point. It only does have 4 SATA connectors on this, so that's one issue. You're going to have 2 here that are horizontally mounted, so you can kind of sneak the cables out the back, and then you're going to have 2 here as well. There are 2 M.2 slots, and there is a USB-C 3.2 header on the motherboard, as well as a regular USB 3 header as well. I'm just taking a look at the back, so no USB-C on the back. And I don't even know why, but there's still a couple of USB 2 ports on there. So that is just a quick glance at the motherboard itself. I'm going to bring that up on Amazon. And I was just looking to see, because I just saw a peek of them, those addressable RGBs. Where did they go? Because I just had them in frame. They are right next to the power. Sorry, right here. So you've got those 2 headers right there. So as you're getting more and more RGB on your case, that can be really cool to have those additional headers. So just wanted to show that real quick. Again, we're taking a look at the Intel as well as the B660 motherboard. Let me come back over here to Amazon. As you can see, I bought this motherboard over the weekend because I had bought a Z690, and I'm thinking, like you guys said, about a budget gaming setup, you know, with a good, decent used graphics card, maybe, you know, you're shooting for that $550, $600 range, maybe, you're going to need a budget board. So this was definitely a good budget board option. It had no problems with it at all. The memory, you know, found the DOCP profile right away, or XMP, as we should probably say on Intel. But this is the big kahuna. Now, this is the Z690. This is the DDR4 as well. This I'll have in a future video. This is from ASRock. But this has got the PCI Express version 5. This board, from what I could tell, does not support PCI Express version 5. It maxes out at 4. So even though I believe this chip supports PCI Express 5, which none of the other hardware does, you know, you can actually still use that on the newer boards. I'm going to pull this up real quick just so you guys get a little lay of the land on the board. You know, obviously you could have more shielding, you could have IO fans, you could have another M.2 slot, but those are the things you're going to get on the 690s if you're willing to upgrade to that. The AuraSync software, let me know what you guys think about RGB software, because, you know, AuraSync, from what I can tell, it's one of the better written ones. They're all garbage, but AuraSync tends to run. There's a little example of where the headers are. So you've got the 3-pin addressables there. It's got them all over the board, as you can see. And it looks like it does have a 4-pin traditional RGB header down at the bottom. So count, there's 4 different RGB headers on this. So that makes your installation a lot more flexible. And then I'm going to take a quick look here. That's the back plate that you guys can see. I'm going to get my follow group out of the way. There you go. And so, like I said, this is going to have the 1 gig Ethernet. That's the max I run at my house. I don't have a 2.5 gig switch. If you want the faster board, that does have the 2.5 gigs. It does have, if you're going to get one of those CPUs and you're looking for just kind of like an office board until you can get a good GPU, it does have DisplayPort and HDMI ports on this. So that's a nice to have, again, if you're going to use the onboard ports. At the same time, you know, it's got the standard audio. It's not going to have the fancy super digital audio as well. I talked about the 4 SATA connectors here as well. So seeing a lot more of the Type-C is on the motherboards, especially even in the budget motherboards, which is cool because a lot of the cases are coming with those now. So just for convenience. Now, this is another cool thing. You do get a maximum of 128 gigs of DDR4 at 5333, which is a lot. But again, I don't know if you're necessarily even going to get that out of the CPU. I think the CPU is maxed out at 3200 on the RAM clock, but we'd have to look at that on the ARC here in just a second. We can take a look. So yeah, decent overall board. I've been happy with the Asus boards. If you could find this on the Amazon market, and I have not, it's a very, very solid one. And Josh is just writing us back here. I'm going to see if I can put him up on the screen real quick. There we go. So he says the Asus Prime lineup, both AMD and Intel sockets, seem to be the I don't need the extra frills, but it runs good board. Absolutely. I was looking at them side by side. I saw the PCI Express. I saw the lack of one more M.2 slot. Couple other little things like that, but it did have the USB-C header. It does have good cooling, so it does have a very large heatsink, as well as, one second, clear that. It actually does have a heat sink for the M.2, which you don't see again in a lot of the more budget boards. they don't include that. You're lucky if you can find a screw for the M.2 slot kicking around in the motherboard box. So I'm going to check the Amazon chat real quick and see if we have any questions from our folks at Amazon. If you want to ask a question on Amazon, it is more than welcome to do that. We were just taking a look at this Asus motherboard, and we are going to be moving along to the next product, which is kind of cool. Which I'm kind of excited about. This one is from Wyze, and you know me, I have a ton of sick Wyze products. This one, I'm going to pull it up over here on the side so you guys can see it. Works with the Wyze home security system. This is the Wyze leak sensors. Now, I won't shock you with the pictures that I showed the first time that I showed this, but the pictures of this install I did capture. This is a standard leak sensor, so this is going to work with the Wyze home monitoring system. You don't have to have home monitoring service active. I need to say that to use the leak sensors. And Wyze did provide these leak sensors to me free of charge for a fair and honest review, which I'm giving you now. Just want to caveat that. It was very, very confusing when I started looking into these leak sensors as to what you need to buy and what you're actually getting. There are 3 leak sensor units, and if you saw the back there, do you see how they're shoving something underneath the dishwasher, and then you have this base unit, and I couldn't figure out what's going on here. So let me open it up, and I kind of explain this to you. So the leak sensor itself, now there's 3, but you're only going to see 1 in the box here, and that's because I got the other 2 deployed, I should say. All that you're going to get in the box are going to be 3 of these little tiny leak sensors. I'm going to go back out so you guys can see those better. And I'm just opening this up. And one of the things that you're going to see, these are all identical, these 3. But they all have this little accessory port, right? So you see the contacts in there? And there's going to be a plug that goes with them. And the cool thing is you can set them up with the included app. I'm going to pull this out so I can share my app on screen with you. They do work with the Wyze home monitoring software and the standard stuff. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. That was a problem we had before. I'm going to pull up the Wyze app where everything goes. And this is the water heater. There we go. So you can see I have my water heater. I have my kitchen sink. If I go to my kitchen sink, it says completely normal. Normal means no water. But if there was water intrusion and water coming, you can actually set up rules for this thing to set things off, turn lights, do alerts. It's going to alert your phone. And I had an entire kitchen get destroyed because of a water leak under the cabinets that was from a line to my refrigerator. So Wyze has come about with these units. So you're getting, again, 3 of these units here. Make sure I got the Wyze leak page up there on the carousel. So if you're just joining, this is John the Net Guy. We're taking a look at the Wyze leak sensors, and these ones are very, very easy to set up. In fact, I'm going to set up one now. I don't know if I've got any water here where I can cause a leak, and I don't know if I want to, but I'm going to show you guys how we add those here. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to hit plus, and I'm going to say add a device. This is how super simple they've made these. We're going to go to sensors, and this is part of the reason I love Wyze as an ecosystem. You guys might have, smart things. You might have all these other ones. But the one thing I like about this is that ecosystem of the cameras to the sensors to the security system to the doorbells and the ability to set up rules to the lighting, all of that stuff. So we're going to go down here, and we're going to look at the Wyze leak sensor, and it's saying, hey, what do you want to connect this to? I'm going to connect it to my Wyze Sense Hub. Super duper easy at this point. So now all I got to do here is I'm going to take this button. It's white on white, so sorry you can barely see it. I'm going to hold that down until I see a red light on the front. There it is. So that's the red light. Now they operate on a proprietary 900 megahertz band, I think. So it actually does pretty good. So there we go. So we've got this one is ready to start using, and I'm going to call this one wash machine. You got it. That was the next one I needed. So I can hit finish. I can share it with somebody else if we want to do that. I'm going to say maybe later. And then it says follow these steps. So like I said, it was a little confusing to me at first when I saw the box includes 3 sensors with a probe. You're actually getting 4 sensors. So the way that they sense water no surprise, is those two little metal contacts, right? So if you set this down horizontally, like this on the floor, when the water gets up a millimeter, let's say, maybe a millimeter and a half, it's going to make connection. That's going to kick off your base station, and all the alarms and everything are going to go off. These little probes on the side that you're seeing connect to the external probe, which you can buy more of. And the cool thing about this is that gives you, this is like your sending unit, that gives you a second sensor location within, 3 feet or whatever the range of the cord is. Now, why would you use that? Let me pull this up, and it's going to be so obvious real quick here. Now, you got to blame my wife on this one, I tell you. This is what I said. I said, we need to get everything out from under the sink. And this was a chore and a half, because you're going to get to see how much stuff we had apparently been storing underneath our sink. Let me go back here. I got to replay it. There we go. It was playing in the mini, and then when I pull it up full, now it doesn't want to play. Isn't that just how it works? There we go. Now it's loading. It's going to be my luck today. And I'm going to go in here forward to show you kind of where we install this at. So the trick here is, again, you take the device, you take the under cabinet area that you're putting it in, you take the device and you set it there, and then the little probe, I put that through a hole that I have in the back of my cabinet that sits behind my dishwasher. So if my dishwasher floods, it's going to let me know through the app. And if the under the sink floods, because the sink has water coming through and plumbing, then this one's going to let me know. So you're actually getting 4 sensors in this whole thing. I'm going to let this one refresh here. And while it's refreshing, give it a, there we go. Oh, see, isn't that just how it works? I hit refresh and then it's going to start to play. So we can see here, this is my under sink. This is what I was just talking about. So I've had a little bit of water there. You can see that wasn't tight enough, I found out the other day. That's my plumbing disaster that is underneath my sink. There's a little piece to the dishwasher that I had not finished installing. But I'm going to go ahead and skip forward here. And so this is the installation steps. So hopefully you guys can still hear me there. But this is the installation steps. So I put that as far back as I could in my cabinet. And then I ran the other sensor. You're going to see me fighting it here through this little tiny hole. So the contacts on it are on the end. And so you can just use gravity and run that down there. And what's cool about this is it's going to notify the hub when I come out here a ways. I'm just cleaning it off here. And so you can kind of see my installation. That's it for my installation right there. There's some pipes that go down for my dishwasher and all that. But pretty cool that it can plug right into that, as you see. And it's wireless. Now, the other cool thing is I don't know what battery this one takes, but most of them are taking the regular triple or quad A batteries, or they've gone back to more standard batteries, so you're not having to hunt down really weird sizes and styles. As you set it up, obviously you earn badges. That's a cool thing with the Wise stuff. And then I went through the process. Now here is where my second one is deployed. Now this is the super duper fancy hybrid water heater we had installed. And it's got the app control and all that, and its leak sensor, and it's got a shutoff, which is cool, but its leak sensor alone you can't buy without the other unit. It's over $200 just for their little leak sensing system. And it's very, very similar. They have a little deal that sits on top here. You don't need to buy the longest hose in aisle, right? Not sure on that one. Let me turn the volume off on this. So this is where I've put my Wise leak sensor here. So again, just make sure that those contacts are down. You don't want them to be up, or you need like an inch of water to hit those. Hey, Dolts, yeah, that's you. And then, so I put this straight down at the bottom, and you'll see when I pull it out here how that works. And hopefully I show you the back of it. There you go. So there's a little metal contacts on the base unit. So let's take a look at what the price is on Amazon right now. It's $39.98 here. Hey, Daniel, thanks for joining from Amazon there. We're live right now. And so this is the sensor, the second of 2 that I deployed, and you're just going to set that down in your tray. So most water heaters are supposed to have a tray. So you just set that down and you're done. That's it. Now, if the batteries run out or it loses communication or all that stuff, it's going to let you know, and you can replace the battery and you're good to go. So very cool for what is essentially 4 sensors. Like I said, you're getting 3 sensors plus the ability to run probes off of those. Maybe you have another location nearby that you can do this. So this is now my wash machine one. So that's what we set up in the app. So I'm going to go back to the app real quick. And so I'm going to go ahead and hit next, and my washing machine is normal. So I go drop this thing under the front of my wash machine, and if I ever have a flood, that's another cool thing. The other neat thing about this is you can usually get a discount on your homeowner's insurance rates for having a bunch of these kind of smart home sensors. So check on that. I think people got for the other sensors, I think they were getting like $50 off, which was pretty cool on their homeowners, or like 10%. So that's pretty slick. So that is the Wyze leak sensors. They do work with the home system, so you're going to have the home monitoring hub in here. So if you come down, you can see all of the different devices I have. So this is my Wyze Sense hub here. I got a firmware upgrade, and these are all the sensors that you can see now I have in my smart home. So I've got the kitchen sink monitored. I've got the water heater, the wash machine. I've got, oh, where's my cigar box? It's over there. I got my cigar box humidity going. So, 53%. I'm gonna need to come back here. Awesome. So a couple chats I want to get to real fast. Put those out here. Those are super cool. This is speaking from someone who had a leak on a sink once a long time ago, only to discover much later it rotted vanity out. Oh, yeah. My kitchen the cabinets were $17,000 to replace. The insurance company paid $16,000 for the whole job, and the cabinets cost $17,000 just for the cabinets during COVID. So it's such a mess. There was one other one that I need to put up here, which is a cha-ching from Zachary Solis. He's got it with the $50 super chat. Thank you so much, my friend. That's awesome. I really do appreciate that. That helps us bring you cool stuff and other cool products here. So that was the Wyze leak sensors that we were just checking out. I'm going to come back over here so you guys can see them. Yes, he does rock. He loves to do that to throw me off my game during the shows. I'm going to bring up the Amazon page just again so you guys can see these. Here we go. So this is the Amazon page. And again, the prices are pretty stable on these ones. These do come directly from Wyze to you here. We'll leave Zach's super chat up there. These are the climate sensors. Again, you can pick up any one of these that you'd like. Now, the other thing I was telling you about those leak sensor probes. So if you have places that are nearby your leak sensor, the base unit that we just talked about, and you want to do a probe to another spot, and I bet you could extend those cords. I think that maybe was what Stoltz was asking. So you can maybe do that. You can use these little probes here to basically add another sensor location on there, which is pretty cool. So that's those. Let's see where they're telling us to use them. Just like that. And I showed you guys how I installed it in my dishwasher. I had a hole in the back, so that made it even easier. This is the hub that you're going to need. You're going to need the home monitoring hub. I think they had the whole system on special. So if you come over here, I'm going to pull up the home monitoring. So yeah, you can get the entire home monitoring starter kit, I think for under $100 there with Prime shipping. So you get that fast. And then you can start deciding how to outfit yours. As you saw in my app, we've got door sensors, window sensors, motion detection, all that kind of cool stuff. So very, very cool. We're going to look at one more product today. Just double checking. Yeah, we have one more product that I'm going to bring up, and it's a brand new product that I just started using today. So I'm going to caveat that and say this is a absolutely brand new product, and that is where to go. This is the Blink video doorbell. Now I've got a bunch of doorbell reviews to do. I've got the J6 doorbell, I've got the Heim Vision doorbell, and now I've got the Blink doorbell and the Wyze doorbell, which I was using until just a little bit ago. They're all different, and let me show you the size difference here so you can see. So that is the Wyze idea of a doorbell. A lot of people complain about not being able to see that button. So when it's back on a wall or something, most people just hit the lens. So that's been kind of a problem. This is the Heim Vision. They went with like the super square look, and they have the back there. You can see their battery ports as well as the charging. So this mounts into something else, but it's pretty large again in size. Just showing you a few competitive offerings. This is a competitive offering. I think this is the J6. So that's its version. Again, very, very similar feature set to the Heim Vision, almost identical feature set. These ones support SD card recording. The Blink doorbell does not have SD card recording built into it. Now, that's a big deal breaker for a lot of people, but they've kind of gone a different route. So where the Wise cameras and Wise stuff usually puts the SD card in, or you have to pay for Cam Plus, this is something I had delivered today. This is the Blink Sync Module 2. This takes a USB stick, memory stick, to record your footage on. So that's another cool option that works with this. So now again, this is actually empty because I installed it already, but that is exactly the size of the unit right there. So it's a little bit smaller than some of our larger units. I'm going to put it over here on the side for you guys while I get some other footage ready. So that's the unit that you're looking at right there. And I'm going to get the footage from the installation that I did today, and then we're just going to go do a live view of it because it's getting dark outside now, and I want to be able to show you guys how this thing works. I also do have some pre-recorded footage from both the Wise, which has a different field of view, as well as the Blink doorbell. Now, I haven't, like I said, I haven't put the sync module on there yet, and that's going to allow me to store it locally. So we're going to look at the cloud recordings. I have not been super happy with my Blink cloud recordings. When I hit save on stuff, sometimes it doesn't save. That's part of the reason I wanted to buy the sync module, see if it resolves that. And so that's a little bit different here. Hey, Wendy, thank you so much for joining here. We are taking a look at the Blink video doorbell. Now, if you guys don't know, Blink is part of Amazon now. So just like Nest and a couple other places that were being bought up. So Amazon has bought Blink, so you can link it with your Amazon account. It does work with your Echo Show, and I'm going to show you guys that as well. I haven't done a full exhaustive search on this thing to tell you if it's like perfect or amazing, but it is very, very easy to install. I'm going to show you that here. So this is my installation. I just did this earlier today on my lunch hour when I had a little bit of time. I went through. This was my Wise one. If you ever see somebody with a Wise one, I'm not telling you to do it, but just lift up because most of them don't have any security on them. So if you lift straight up, they just pop right off. That's one of the things that a lot of people complain about. Now, this one does have a security feature, the Blink doorbell, where you actually have to use a key that they provide to slip in behind, but a screwdriver works just as well. So don't think of it as like amazingly perfect security. One of the differences in that when we talk about security is if you take one of these that has a security screw on it and you rip it off the wall, you've got the SD card and the storage in your hand. The Blink one, because the sync module is wireless and it's in another room, somebody would have to break into your house to go get it. So that's a difference that you may want to think about when you're looking at these. So continuing on about the Blink doorbell as well, we go through here. This is how you attach their base plate. Now, their base plate doesn't include any sort of wire. So you have to hope that you have just enough wire like I did here to get to them. And I actually prefer a direct wired method versus, wire nuts, but they include a couple wire nuts for some reason on there. And then you put that on your wall, and then you can put the doorbell on it. Now, you can see from a size perspective, it's definitely bigger than the Wise doorbell. So if I go back, you can see with the Wise doorbell where that painting was. That was when I had another test doorbell up there that, was covered up in there. There we go. Now, the app is super duper easy to go through. You can just go through here. You can also then go to your Alexa and you can look at any of the other things where you want it to announce when people are coming up. So it can announce motion even before somebody touches the doorbell. You can also set times of day for the motion announce. So if it's late at night, I want my Alexa in my master room to say somebody's on the porch. Even if they don't hit something, I want them to let me know about that. And so you can see the motion and the doorbell announcements. You've got those. And there is a trick with a custom routine. You can pop up the image or the video directly on your Echo Shows if you have those devices. So that's another really cool thing about the Blink doorbell. So this is my kitchen again. The wife's going to love it. We got like laundry sitting out there. Ignore the laundry. We're a working household here, but this is my kitchen here. And then this is the doorbell that I'm going to show you on the Echo Show, if I can get that to run here. While we're letting that load up, I'm actually going to load up the Blink app, and I'm just going to bring the app alongside here. So we'll see which one wins. So I'm going to go to the Blink app. Setup was, again, super duper easy. Hey, look, I scared it into running. That's exactly how it works. Let's see if it will run. Maybe I scared it into running here. So we're going to go down here. There's my Blink Studio camera up here. Let me turn it, and then I'm going to let you see that camera here just so you can see the ecosystem that they've got going. Turn their audio off. So yeah, you can see me. I'm up there. That's their camera. It works very, very similar when you come down here. Now, this one is battery powered. Live view in progress. Please wait. Well, it's not coming from this one. There we go. So this is the live view right now of my porch, and my porch light is a compact fluorescent. Wide here. So my porch light is a compact fluorescent, and you know, it's not showing the night vision, but it does have those night vision capabilities. And that next to it is a package butler. That's that thing that's taking up the room. Now, let's look at the field of view side by side, right? So you're seeing that. And in the lower corner, you're actually going to see, I'm going to play the Wise Cam field of view. So here you see to the left, there's something a little bit red. And then the right, it's kind of covered up by this package butler. I wanted to show you in a different view what that looks like. So I'm going to go straight out here and we'll go to full. So this is a comparison. This is the Wise Cam vertical field of view that they have. It's very, very different. And we'll see if that will play. This is my day not to use Google Photos for video, right? I'm gonna see if I can do it on the phone device faster. I thought this would be a great way to do it, but apparently not. So let me see if I can pull up a couple of these. And let's go. There we go. That's actually going to work even faster. So this is beating Google now. So here I'm actually just asking a few things of it. I'm just going to tell it to show the porch on there. And actually I can interact and talk to my daughter. So this is her out on the porch, and this is an Echo Show. And so you can set it up to actually talk through and do everything right through your Echo Show device, which I really like. Now, again, I was telling you about the difference in field of view. This is the field of view difference. This is the Wise Cam. Now, it's completely different. You can see the quality difference there. It's definitely blown out by light. This was yesterday. This was me. It's definitely makes me gain about 30, 40 pounds. And then you can see there, I was taking Chinese for lunch yesterday, but I'm kind of missing, you see that left side of the porch is completely missing on this view. So you can get things from both of these manufacturers. The Blink sells a wedge, which is right here. It's also in the carousel. And that's to correct that. This is the video aspect ratio. Again, my daughter was very helpful to help today to demo this. But this is the video that you're going to see and the aspect ratio that you're going to see from there. So you can see a lot more horizontally. You don't see my floor mat, my doormat, because the Blink's definitely got a wider angle. But I do really appreciate the wide field of view. It's got, you're going to see somebody standing next to the door on either side. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to look here if we can pull up the Amazon page for it, see if I want to make sure I haven't missed anything on there. And I'll show you again a couple other things. So that's my daughter as well. The difference is on this one too, it's both battery operated. So a lot of the Blink ones are battery enabled. They include lithium, extreme lithiums from Energizer, which is amazing. Those batteries alone are a few dollars. And I think the current price on this is $39.99, so it's $10 off right now. So Josh is asking a question real quick. I'm going to pull that up on here. The wide angle and refresh rate is nice, better than one of the ecosystems I used a couple years ago. Yeah, it's really hard. It is really hard. And so he's saying he doesn't recommend one of the other brands. I can't bring the brand names up yet for a couple reasons, but and a lived-in house is better than the studio. Well, this is my lived-in test doorbell, and so when you pull your doorbell cover off, that's what you're seeing there is the chime. So on that left side, when you're looking at it, is the chime. This one actually uses either your household chime or a digital chime that you can buy as an add-on if you really want. So some people in new construction, they don't have any of this stuff. They don't want a chime. You can go without it. And the right side of that view there is a transformer that you would use that comes for your regular doorbell chime and everything. And that's how it gets continuous power. But if you didn't have that, this is actually one way that you can use the Blink video doorbell wirelessly and on battery. And then you would have to replace the batteries occasionally. Now, if you go to the battery powered mode, it's going to do a couple things differently right away. So if you decide to go battery on this one of the things that it's going to do is it's only going to be passive infrared. So it's not going to have continuous motion alerting. When somebody pushes it, there might be a slight delay for your digital chime to go off and a couple other things. But I did want to point that out for you guys as well. And I did order the sync module today, and it arrived today before the show. I did want to point that out. Now, here's the problem, though. It arrived today before the show. I did not get an alert of motion from the Blink like I was expecting, and the part is right there. So obviously it completely missed that motion alert, which scares me because it's all hooked up and running right and has great Wi-Fi signal. So not a good testament here from the Wisecam, or it's not the Wisecam, sorry, the Blink video doorbell, that it completely missed the second delivery of the accessories for it. But that's where I wanted to see if the sync module would help. And with my field of view, I would like to see, because of where that package butler was I showed you guys, I would like to actually see a little bit more left. So I'm going to show that here as well. So if I come back out to the recording, so there she is. So I would like to see a little bit more left into that corner. So I bought the wedge. This is another $7, I believe, and that gives you a little bit more view towards the left. And they have different degrees. They have like 30 degrees and 15 degrees, I think. So you can make 45. So just take a look at the different wedge offerings they have. So I wanted to show you those products. That has been the Blink doorbell. Again, when I get more time to play with the sync module and to see how that works, and I get the wedge installed, I'll bring it back on the show. We'll take a look at it. I will also be bringing a few other products that you see back here. We've got the RX 6500 XT, which will come through. Additionally, more doorbells, because I'm kind of addicted to these things. I love checking out video doorbells. I think they're a must-have, a security feature. A friend of mine from church, they just had a break-in like a week and a half ago, and they're already putting doorbells and cameras up. So that's, definitely important. I'm going to check the chat one more time here to see if I missed anything great from you guys. I appreciate you guys all hanging out that have hung out with us here. This has been John, the Net Guy. We took a look at quite a few products today. We went from the original, the Vacos, the IP camera, again, on-VIF support. So if you're looking for something that has on-VIF, you want to be kind of in control of your own destiny, $25.99 minus 10% right now on Prime. Use the link that I have, or hit up the carousel for that. The Wyze leak sensors. This is a really cool product. I need to go drop this off under my wash machine, and now I have peace of mind in 4 different areas: for my dishwasher, my undersink, my water heater, and now my wash machine are all going to be covered from a safety perspective from leaks. I'll be able to find out when that happens, and it was $39, so that's pretty cool. We did talk about the Intel 12th gen. And the Intel 12th gen is a 6-core, 12-thread processor. I've got it benched out here. I'm going to do a budget build on this thing. I think this is the setup I'm looking for. I've got an incredibly crazy looking case that I want to put this in, and I'm excited about that. So stick around. Make sure that you're following. If you're on Amazon, feel free to use the follow link that's somewhere here or there if you're on Amazon, and then you'll get notified every single time Amazon customer started following, it says. So thank you, whoever Amazon customer was. That's awesome. We did talk about the motherboard that this Intel is running on, and that was the B660M. That's going in that budget build. I'll tell you more about it when we get there. Definitely a high quality board for, it's B660 prices. It's right in that price range. I'm really happy about that. And we closed out the show today with the Blink video doorbell. And let me go back here just to the live view of the Blink doorbell so you guys can take a look at it. Just want to give you one last look at the live view of Blinky, my doorbell. And I'm going to try this thing out. Like I said, I'm going to play with it for a while, and I will let you guys know what I like about it, what I don't like about it. If I go down here, I can kind of show you again from earlier in the day when I was testing it, looking at it, installing it, uninstalling it. You know, it does keep those records and those downloads here. So unfortunately, it missed the drop off that we saw, I was telling you guys about. So somehow the other add-ons got dropped and it didn't actually catch those. So who knows what was going on there. This has been John the Net Guy. Dawn, thank you so much for starting your first follow here on Amazon. You're going to get notified every single time I go live. I'm excited and I'm looking forward to seeing all of you guys again. This has been John, and this is Tech on Tuesday, 5:30 Pacific time, every single week for the foreseeable future. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you all in a future video.